and kick me out of the park. Well, I ain't going quiet, I'm saying it loud. My mission is to stop you and completely shut you down.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Your word is like the garbage that gets sent to the dump. You and your whole crew are nothing more than some chumps. It's time to take you out and kick you straight to the curb. My mission is to silence you and keep the game pure.
Smack, runner, you're nothing but lies. Smack, runner, with weak alibis. Smack, runner, your game is through. Smack, runner, I'm talking to you.
Welcome back to The Truth is Viral, kids. My name is Bob Powell. I hope you can hear me okay. I broke my main microphone cord up in Washington, D.C. Had a pretty good time up there. Accomplished something I never thought I'd be able to do. After a vicious fight by federal prosecutors to keep me and my video of federal agents off the stand, it was allowed into evidence by a D.C. federal judge. And I spent the afternoon testifying to the truth of what happened on January 6th. Now, I would like to thank a young lady by the name of Tor. I guess she goes by the name of Tor Says. Don't know much about her, except she is also aware that Pete Santilli is a Judas goat and a federal informant. But she sent her viewers to my live stream when I thought President Trump was going to be coming out of the same courthouse that I had just testified. But apparently Newsweek was wrong. It was just his lawyers that showed up. I thought I was going to, be like, hey, President Trump, how you doing? But that didn't happen. So anyway, I was mistaken, but I did tell everybody about the victory that we had in court that day, and a lot of Taurus supporters sent some donations, and it's going to pay a lot of bills. It's going to give me the equipment and software that I need to broadcast to multiple channels simultaneously, and just generally ease my current situation, which is beyond broke. Yeah, it's been a week since I was in Washington, D.C., and I haven't. It's taken this long to get this episode of The Truth is Viral put together, because I like to put on a show. I like to give you guys some network quality entertainment as much as I can with the limited resources I have at my disposal. So on I guess it was August 24th now, 2023. After more than 31 months of trying to, get the FBI's attention, I finally did. And we're going to talk about it now with Mel Hawley. She produces a podcast called Sovereign Soul, and Roger Roots, the defense attorney in the case of U.S. v. Nancy Barron. And this little prepackaged 1 hour segment is going to be fire, kids. You're going to like it, and when it's over with, I will return and take your questions. So, are you ready? Here we go.
How you doing? What show are we on? Truth is viral. The truth is viral, people. So take 2 penicillins and call me in the morning.
Places you don't talk about at parties. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Keep this frequency clear.
And now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute. That powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff.
You're watching The Truth is Viral, the only news program on the internet trusted to deliver the truth since 2008. And now, here's your host, Mr. Bobby Powell.
Let's just get rolling, folks. Welcome back to The Truth is Viral. This is my good friend Mel Hawley. She produces the Sovereign Soul broadcast. And this is Roger Roots, the attorney in charge of the case that we have won a victory today. Let me tell you something. The government fought hard to keep my video of federal agents out of the courtroom. They lost. That video is now part of the evidence in the federal court system. And that is a major, major victory. Roger, tell us about the trial today.
Well, he's referring to the trial of Nancy Barron, who of course is one of 1,200 or more so-called J6ers, January 6 defendants. And Nancy is currently on trial in Washington, D.C., U.S. Federal District Court. I don't know if you can see the Capitol lit up in the background. That's where we are. She's on trial for 4 misdemeanors. We call them the 4 standard misdemeanors, essentially entering and remaining in a restricted area, disorderly conduct in a restricted area, and picketing, demonstrating, or parading inside the Capitol. So she's charged with 4 misdemeanors. And what's important is that her location on January 6th was actually not far from Bobby Powell. And that's how we were able to call Bobby Powell and get him on the stand as a witness because he's relevant. He's a relevant witness to the facts of Nancy Barron's case. And they were within feet of each other at times. Yeah. Although they never met each other until 3 days ago.
It's been that long already?
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Well, and I will add that I picked up Bobby at the airport, and as we drove over the bridge into D.C., I said, when was the last time you were here? And he said, January 6th, 2021. Yeah.
This is my 4th visit to Washington, D.C. I came as a kid. My parents brought me on vacation. I took my son here in 2015 for a little ruckus. They call it the Truckers' Ride for the Constitution.
I remember that.
And then January 6th, and now here I am back again in the devil's den, the dragon's mouth. And I shoved the truth right down their freaking throats. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to see, they didn't want to know anything about old Bobby Powell in the video that I shot. Roger, can you tell them about how hard the government fought this morning to keep me out of that courtroom?
Well, I'll just say that it was not until, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at least. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he was the first witness of the day, and we had fought, myself and John Pierce, my co-counsel in the trial, we had fought most of the morning with the federal prosecutors and the judge, arguing that this is relevant, that it actually belongs in this trial. His testimony is relevant because Nancy Barron also saw many of the same things that Bobby Powell saw that day. So it's totally relevant. They could not argue otherwise. The government at one point, the prosecution, actually went to the lectern and argued to the judge that it was prejudicial to the government. And so we had to argue quite a bit. Then they tried to use witness intimidation tactics, which they do with so many defense witnesses, where they actually told Bobby Powell that he needed an attorney because he might be in criminal liability himself because they claimed he, on January 6th, was in a what they call a restricted area. It's so preposterous when you think about it, but they claim that there's a particular red line all the way around the Capitol grounds, extending out from the Capitol for hundreds of yards in places, and that mythical red line is restricted area, and so they actually threatened Bobby with they didn't threaten him with prosecution, but they suggested that he needed an attorney to advise him. So the first hour or two of the day, Bobby had to go and meet with a public defender.
Yeah.
How'd you like that guy?
I liked him. He's a really nice guy.
You dress alike.
Yeah, his name's Carter. He's a really nice guy. Very jovial, and he listened to my story from beginning to end. And you should have seen the number of times his mouth dropped. For example, when I told him about the $200,000 bribe that Congressman Kerry Bentivolio had offered me to lose the video on behalf of Michigan GOP Chair Ron Weiser, and then threatened my life when I told him to go screw himself. Okay, he did not. His jaw just hit the floor with that. So, I'm not scared of the federal government. You cannot intimidate me. I am a United States Marine. We are not intimidation does not exist in our vocabulary. And besides, if they ever did arrest me for anything, they put me on the witness stand and they can't object. Okay? I will tell them everything. I will tell them about the 10 times that I have written or called the FBI, the Department of Justice Inspector General, and the FBI's professional responsibility, offering to come in and give them my video from January 5th, 6th, and 7th and sit down for an interview. Each offer was refused. The FBI is scared to death of this video. That's why they fought so hard this morning to keep it out. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, no, and what I was referring to was I thought it was quite humorous when the judge said, after talking to the public defender who was representing you, as he left the courtroom, the judge said, and let's make sure it's on the record that he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. that was spectacular.
I grew up in Florida, and I've seen more Hawaiian shirts in Washington, D.C. in the last couple of days than there are.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's like summer wear.
Yeah.
So what's our next step, Roger? What's going to go on with Nancy's trial next week?
Well, of course, the trial continues. We're on the weekend, but the trial, it's a misdemeanor trial. It's gone 4 days now, and it's going over the weekend till Monday. Bobby Powell's testimony has ended. He was cross-examined, and he's off the stand. So Monday the trial will continue, and probably I'll just say I'm thinking it may end Monday, or at least our part of it. It will go to the jury. I'm thinking by Monday afternoon.
And in just a couple of weeks, Ryan Zink, son of congressional candidate Jeff Zink, is going to be on trial. Ryan was standing right next to me when I was recording video of Hunter Emke breaking that Capitol window. He caught the same footage that I did. He's facing 30 years in federal prison. The only reason that I haven't been arrested is because I captured that undercover officer pulling the glass from its frame, and the other undercover officer holding the Columbus doors open with a pole. That's the last thing that the federal government wants to see in the record. And too bad, because now it is. It has been entered as evidence, and it can be used by anybody.
Let me say that we made a motion for a mistrial on the basis of a Brady violation. I'm sure your listeners and viewers probably know what a Brady violation is, but I'll just explain that it means that the prosecutors are sitting on exculpatory evidence and not providing it to the defense. Okay, so, and the word exculpatory means any evidence tending to show innocence, and that's a very broad category. Obviously, the footage that Bobby Powell shot on that day tends to show innocence for many January 6ers, and there's several ways that occurs, and it shows that undercover government agents, or likely undercover government agents, were actually playing major and significant roles. That's exculpatory evidence. It shows that an Antifa, someone who is actually, by all knowledge, is affiliated with, you could say, the left anti-Trump forces. An Antifa activist, in fact, broke the very first window at the Capitol, and it was caught on film by Bobby Powell. This is exculpatory evidence to so many January 6ers, and we, defense lawyers, not just in this case, but in every case, have been denied that footage in discovery. In discovery, the government provides, the prosecutors provide all these videos, body cam videos, closed caption, CCTV videos from the Capitol in different places. We have just, I don't know, thousands and thousands of hours that have been provided to the defense lawyers in discovery by the U.S. Attorney's Office, but lo and behold, they have never provided Bobby's footage to us in discovery, even though we know for a fact that Bobby provided it to them over 2 years ago.
Well, I provided it to him on January 15th, 2021, 1 week after the Fedsurrection. Okay, I not only gave it to the FBI, I gave it to NCIS, I gave it to the Secret Service, I gave it to JTTF,
Joint Terrorism
Task Force. And since then, my 10 offers have been ignored to come in and give them an interview and all the rest of the footage. Because I only gave them a small portion of it. I only gave them 29 minutes. I got a couple hours worth. Now, don't bother trying to get a search warrant for it, because I've licensed it to Fort Fisher. Every second of that video is on his Twitter timeline. So have at it. It's yours now. Take it. Do with it. Cry over it. Take a Xanax and drink a box of wine. Now, I'm standing here today telling you God's truth, speaking in the name of and with the authority of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I am telling you the truth. It was the FBI and not Trump supporters who led the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th.
Back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. I know that you are wrong. Headstrong, we're headstrong. Back off, I'll take you on. Headstrong to take on anyone. I know that you are wrong, and this is not where you belong.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
You made some points, which now the judge did limit your testimony a little bit because the prosecution objected so hard, and they insisted that you couldn't use the word Antifa, that you could not explain to the jury who Hunter Emke was and how he was aligned. So that did not really get to the jury. And the other thing was what? Oh, the judge limited Bobby from alerting the jury that particular individuals in the video were obvious, undercover government operators of some kind.
Well, the thing that really bothered me was, and I almost called the judge or spoke to the judge because the prosecution was committing another Brady violation right in front of his face. Part of Ms. Barron's defense is that she was pushed into the Capitol. And it's very likely that she was pushed into the Capitol by the same undercover operative that I was. Well, I didn't actually go into the Capitol, but he pushed me towards the door. Okay? So they took my video and they rolled it past the part where I had been pushed by this undercover federal agent. And I was just this close to saying, Your Honor, the prosecution is perpetrating a fraud on this court right in front of your face. But I didn't do it. I probably should have. But it is what it is.
Now, now remember that the footage, and I think probably your viewers have seen it, shows first and foremost that a young man, you want to give his name? Hunter Emke, a very young man, obviously a man of the left, not a Trump supporter at all. The very first window, in fact, was captured by Bobby Powell being broken, and it wasn't by a Trump supporter. And officers initially detained him and then
took his driver's license and let him go. And he self-surrendered at the FBI office in California. And they put an ankle monitor on him, and he sat at home for a year waiting for his trial, eating Hot Pockets and playing video games, while just a mile away from here, people who did far less are still being held inside the January 6th DC gulag. Okay? That's a two-tiered system of justice for you. If you're a leftist, you get to go home and sit on an ankle monitor. If you are not a leftist, if you're a Trump supporter, well, by golly, you're going to be locked down. You're going to be in a solitary confinement. They're going to come up with all kinds of things to mess with you. And the guards, to my understanding, are not Americans. Have you heard that?
There are African guards over there that are contracted.
They're contracted immigrant.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
But there definitely are some.
Right, but
yes.
they're being told.
So you have to think about. Do they have to take any kind of oath? I mean, as a law enforcement officer, don't they all take an oath? I mean, so
how would a foreign national be able to take an oath?
Exactly, that's what I want to know. Because I have talked to some of these inmates who have told me that they've tried to say to these kind of guards, you can't do this. You're breaking this, this amendment, whatever. And they look at them and laugh like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, to my understanding, the story that I heard, and I can't prove this, is that they were told, these contractors, that January 6th prisoners were white supremacists.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They actually were, when they were first in there, I don't think this is still going on anymore, but they were handing out newspapers of, what is his name? He's got like a newspaper, it's like a, Islam newspaper that's like hard left.
0.
No. It's black guy over here who's like a
Farrakhan?
I think it's Farrakhan's
Nation of Islam?
I think it's his Farrakhan's newspaper. So they were putting it in all their cells in D.C. and that's all they were giving them to read. Yes.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, another major point in your video that you shot was, and this was right on the east side of the Capitol, while there were thousands of people on the steps near what people know as the Columbus doors, or the east front major door, the biggest door on the front of the Capitol. What occurred was maybe, 40 feet, 20 feet? How far away from that door?
30 to 40 feet.
And a window was being broken by Hunter Emke. Then the officers got a signal from which Mr. Powell heard on their radios. He could overhear a signal coming from a supervisor,
a dispatcher of some type. The first radio transmission that I heard.
Flashback.
Asked how many defenders do you have at that window? That's a quote verbatim. And the squad commander relayed back, we have eight defenders. At that time, I walk up to one of the Capitol Hill police officers wearing a white mask, and I told him, brother, I'm a United States Marine. I'm sworn to defend this Capitol. Nobody's going through a broken window during a riot on my watch. If you need backup, all you got to do is ask. And he said, thank you.
End of flashback.
And then what happened with the radio transmissions now?
Okay, the second radio transmission came over the air, and it told the officers to displace from that window and move to another location, knowing full well that there was a mob outside threatening to go inside that window. So it was on purpose. And 90 seconds after those Capitol Hill police officers departed the area.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
The man in black, who I call undercover number 1, pulled that frame of glass from the window, stepped aside, and encouraged people to go in. But I wasn't going to allow that. And then he saw my camera pointed at him, and he saw my press helmet marked media on one side, press on the front, and he saw my camera pointed right at him, and he changed his tune real quick. Instead of being a vandal, somebody attacking the Capitol, now he's pushing people away from the window. He pushes a guy by the name of Gavin Kroll and squares off of it. And after that interaction, guy melts off into the crowd, and I never see him again except for a couple of frames of the Columbus door.
And you've made a major point, which I don't think the judge allowed the jury to hear, but your point about why the man in black is obviously undercover law enforcement is why?
You tell me.
Well, because as far as you know, his image has not been uploaded. It does not appear on Sedition Hunters. Doesn't appear on these. When you go and look at all the suspects that they're looking for, they're not looking for him.
Yeah, and somebody that's such an important character in the whole thing. When they're, you've got people like Abs included in this, and there's others.
They objected when I tried to tell them that the FBI has never uploaded images of either of one of those two guys.
Yeah. Objection.
And I happen to know that the first guy that broke a window on the other side of the Capitol, the west side of the Capitol, the very first guy that broke a pane of glass on the other side of the Capitol is also unidentified. We call him red on red glasses. It's a guy wearing a red sweater. He broke the very first pane of glass on the other side. That was just 1 minute later, maybe 2 minutes later, after Hunter Emke broke the window on the east side. The guy with the red sweater on the west side was breaking a pane of glass, and of course, a man that I've represented, Dominic Pizzola, admitted he broke the second pane of glass next to the guy in red sweater. But anyway, the official government position is that they don't know and can't identify the guy in the red sweater, and of course he's seen all over January 6th footage. In fact, he was right after Ashley Babbitt, right behind her at the time of her killing. He would have been the second person after Ashley Babbitt into the House chamber. That's the role that individual played. The government claims they can't find him, although it's very clear if you zoom in on the footage, he had a cell phone right in his pocket. It's very clear. And we know the government was tracking every cell phone. Every single cell phone is known. They were tracking every single one. So the footage shows that man with a cell phone in his pocket, and yet the FBI and the federal prosecutors claim they can't find the guy. And so the very first guy that broke a pane of glass on the east side was an Antifa activist, followed up by an undercover officer pulling the glass out of the frame on the east side. And then on the west side, we now know that the first guy to break a pane of glass is also unarrested, never been arrested, and supposedly can't be identified, even though his face is all over the footage. He's at every strategic point in the story on the west side, and it's obvious in his pocket he's carrying a cell phone.
Using my video and video from others who were on the east side, attorney Brad Geyer has identified over 80 men who committed violence at the Capitol on the east side, whose images have never been uploaded to the internet. And I understand you've identified a few too. How many?
We filed in the Proud Boy case on behalf of Pizzola. We filed. There's at least 50 that if you count the Metropolitan Police, that's the local police department. They admitted at that time during that trial in February, there were 24, at least 24 undercover, or what they call plainclothes, Metro Police undercovers. And then through other sources of evidence, we were able to identify from Jeremy Brown's case, it's pretty clear there were at least 19 or 20 Homeland Security federal undercovers, at least that many. We don't know how many FBI undercovers. We don't know how many there were for other agencies. We also do know from documents that and from the witness, actually the first witness in this trial that we're in right now, the first witness admitted that Capitol Police Department had undercovers. We don't know how many. So at least 50 that I identified. Brad Geyer, another lawyer, filed a document showing that there were at least 80. And by the way, after my thing was filed, a pro se January 6 defendant named Will Pope has filed a great document very recently in which he's identified that Metropolitan Police Department had at least 28, not 24. At the time I filed about it, there was only 24 known. We don't know there was 28. And that's just the Metropolitan Police Department. There are so many agencies that probably had undercovers. We don't know anything about ATF. We don't know anything about National Park Service. We don't know anything about Secret Service. I mean, all of these agencies, apparently, from everything we can discern, had many plainclothes people in amidst the crowd that day.
And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free. I was born free. I was born free. Born free.
Now, I'm standing here today telling you God's truth, speaking in the name of and with the authority of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because I am telling you the truth. It was the FBI and not Trump supporters who led the insurrection at the Capitol on January 6th.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at mypillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
My mission is to stop you and...
Oh yeah, so here we are back live. If anybody's got a question, I'd be happy to answer it. Hey Mark, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Patrick Belmar makes an excellent point. To beg for the blessing of authority is to accept that the choice is the master's alone to make, which means that the person is already, by definition, a slave. Well, I'm no man's slave. I bow before no man but Jesus Christ alone, and never ask a Marine to kneel because they consider it a firing position. I want to thank again Tor Mars viewers from the Tor Seth that came over during the live stream after I had testified in the court for making their donations, and because that's going to help me catch up on a lot of bills and provide me with the ability to multi-stream to multiple platforms at once. So I want to thank those guys for that, and for you guys for seeing this live. If you don't mind, go to givesandgo.com/Bobby Powell and throw me a few bucks, because this fighting the government stuff is expensive, especially when they demonetize you and won't let you earn a living from your show. I depend on you 100% for everything that I do. I do not mind putting myself out on point. I rather enjoy it, actually. I like to live dangerously. It's part of the alpha male mentality. I also like to do the right thing. And as much as I was allowed last Thursday, I got up on a stand in a DC federal court and testified about what really happened on January 6th. This was video that has never been seen before inside of a DC court, and it'll be seen again when I go back for the trial of United States versus Ryan Zink. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but it's like a week or two out, so I'd like you to keep me in your prayers, if you would. That last trip to DC took a lot out of me. I'm an old man now, and I need your prayers more than anything. Okay, so if you don't mind, hook me up. Psalm 91 me all day long. But I'll tell you what, I knew I was covered in prayer when I walked in that DC courtroom. I was confident. I was wearing the full armor of God. And there was nothing that they could do to impeach me or my video. They tried to intimidate me, threaten me with, you might need a lawyer. Excuse me, but I don't need a lawyer. Our rights are given to us from God, enumerated in the Constitution. I volunteered to come in by the FBI's tip line by email or phone call 6 times. Last time, the woman hung up on me. Got all these recorded, by the way. So, and if you count the 2 complaints that I've made each to the Department of Justice Inspector General and the FBI's Office of Professional Responsibility, I guess that's a total of 10 times that I offered to come in and give them this video, but it scares them so badly, they just don't want to have any part of it. Well, too bad, because now it's in there. And there's not a doggone thing that you can do about it. You can kill me now. Go ahead. Threaten me with a good time. I'm ready to go fish with my Lord. But until then, I'm going to continue to fight for January 6th prisoners. That Hunter Emke who broke the window, he stayed home on a ankle monitor for a year, awaiting trial, playing video games, eating Hot Pockets, and got 4 months in county jail. These Proud Boys like Dominic Pizzolo and Joe Biggs, they get over a decade for shaking a fence. It's not right. And I'm going to continue to fight with every bit of strength that I have, which admittedly is not much these days, to see justice done for January 6th. Another January 6th defendant just committed suicide yesterday. His death was announced. That's 4 so far, and that's not counting all the ones that are in gulags being physically abused, medically abused, psychologically tortured to the point of suicide. What's happening is wrong. And I've done all that I can to make it right. I have contacted all 535 members of Congress and told them about this video. 17 have responded and taken possession of it. 4 of them sit on the Weaponization Committee. Thomas Massey, Greg Stubbe, Matt Gaetz, and Jim Jordan. I personally handed the video to Thomas Massey and or not Thomas Massey, but Matt Gaetz and Greg Stubbe. Matt Gaetz got his first copy at a Trump rally in Sarasota on July 3rd, 2021, and signed for a second copy in December of 2021 when I sent a registered letter to his office in Pensacola. I took a copy to Greg Stubbe's office. He's a congressman down here in Florida, and left it with his secretary, or aide, or whoever she is. But more importantly, I handed him a second copy at CPAC 22 on February 24th, 2022. Okay, so these, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Louis Gohmert, they've both signed for thumb drives over 18 months ago, and they're not saying anything. They're not doing a damn thing. They're tweeting. Well, tweets don't get the job done. I swear. Kevin McCarthy signed for a package in, let's see if I can get the date correct, February 3rd, 2022. So not only did he renege on his promise to release all the 44,000 hours of footage that Capitol Hill police had captured on their surveillance, these people are hiding the video that shows that Trump supporters weren't in the lead of the attack. Yeah, they followed in after the undercovers had forced the issue, had broken through the ranks. That wasn't a real bright idea, but that's what they did. But the ones that were starting the violence were undercover federal agents, and we've identified over 80 of them on the east side alone. Identified them as far as the FBI has not uploaded their video, their photographs or images or video of them to the internet. So why is the FBI trying to keep these people's identity secret? Why they refused all of my offers to come in and sit down with them and give them an interview. These are questions for inquiring minds, and we want to know. Now, I will do my damnedest to continue working for you. Space Rangers says this whole damn country has gone insane. Yes, it has. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Mark just reminded me that besides the current members of Congress that I've given this video to, a former member of Congress, a man that I believe to be my friend, Congressman Kerry Bentivolio from Michigan, invited me to lunch at a barbecue shack in Bay City, and the ostensible purpose of the meeting was to figure out a plan to get my video to President Trump, because you can only imagine what kind of numbers and what phone numbers he has access to, right? United States Congressman. Got to have more phone numbers than I do. So after the initial pleasantries were over, hi Kerry, how's the wife and kids? How's church? How's the grandkids? All that crap. We get down to business, and he said, Bobby, what's it gonna get you to stop talking about your video, which had just been on Newsmax a month before? And I said, Kerry, why would I want to do that? It proves that President Trump and mega Republicans weren't responsible for the so-called insurrection. And he said, because Ron Weiser wants you to. You know who he is, right? I said, well, yeah, he's the head of the Republican Party in Michigan, the MIGOP. Why would he want me to stop talking about the video? Kerry says to me, look, he didn't answer my question. He just went right to, how about $100,000? I kind of laughed at him. I said, Kerry, get the fuck out of here. You got to be pulling my leg. And he says, how about $200,000? Okay, now at this point I realize I'm actually being offered a bribe to lose my video and not talk about it again. This was on November 22nd, 2021. And I told Kerry, I said, look, you can go back and tell Ron Weiser that if he wants me to stop talking about this video and promoting it, he's going to have to kill me. At which point, Congressman Bentivolio says that can be arranged. You can see our Facebook conversation leading up to this meeting on my Substack at bobbypowell.substack.com. I would give my left nut to have a recording of that bribery attempt, but I don't normally record my friends when they ask me out to lunch. You feel me? So we really can't trust anybody but ourselves and our Lord. We really can't. People that you think are your friends, they'll be your friends up to some point, but it's everybody's natural human instinct to look out for number one. It's the godly instinct that we've got to find that makes us want to help others before helping ourselves. And I have found that to be sorely lacking over these last 30-some months. I mean, people that I've sat around bonfires with, shared meals with, they won't even share my posts on Facebook because they're afraid they'll get fired. That's the kind of country we're living in now. And it's a damn shame. So if you want to help me out, here's what you do. Keep me in your prayers first of all. go to bobbypowell.substack.com and share all of the posts that you can find there. It's almost entirely devoted to January 6th. You'll find out who's our friends and who's not, okay? And you'll find out a lot of stuff that you didn't know before. And I encourage you all to share it widely. Don't forget, if you have the ability, go to givesendgo.com/Bobby Powell and throw me a couple of bucks. The link's up there at the top of the chat. Just hit that, and I would be most appreciative. They have tried to grind me down. They have taken away all of my ad revenue and sources of income. They have failed. The good Lord has sent you good folks to my rescue in my time of need every single time. And I thank God for him being God, and I thank God for you. And I thank you for your prayers and everything, because it's lonely out here in fifth wheel country. I guess that's about it. I'm going to try to do this more regular now that I have a little bit of resources. I'm going to get that restreaming thing set up and learn how to work that. And I'm still going to start coming back with a regular 1 hour, well, no, 2 hours. Most of us make it 2 hours, maybe 3 hour talk show. Okay, I'm tired of talking at you guys. I want to hear what you've got to say. Okay, we tried that once before. It was a Mickey rigged setup. It worked out okay for its purpose, but it wasn't top shelf. And all I need is a $400 piece of gear to make this a very easy situation. Basically, I need a new mixer. The old one took a crap, and trying to screen grab and rebroadcast on 2 different computers at the same time just was not working. So that's it. Thank you for watching this episode of The Truth is Viral Live. My name is Bob Powell. Thank you for watching, and as always, God bless, Semper Fi, and hoorah. I will catch you guys later. Whew. The fan kicked on. The air kicked on. That's a special challenge about living in a fifth wheel. I found out that you can't run the air and the microwave at the toaster at the same time, not with all this electric gear I've got going on back here. You should see this. I'll get a second camera set up next time, and you guys can see my little setup here. It's kind of cramped, but I'm making it work. I improvise, I adapt, and I overcome. That is what I do. So that's it. Thank you for watching. God bless and Semper Fi. Good night.